This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. I'm Amber. Today, my fabulous and gorgeous co-host is Miss Jennifer Hanway. She is a board-certified holistic nutritionist. She's also a New Beauty Brain Trust member and just a fabulous woman to know all around. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. You know what? I'm going to record that and have that as my alarm every morning. So every time I wake up, I'm just going to have you just saying beautiful things about me. That's a way to start the day, right?
You know what? Speaking of a great way to start the day, and I love that this is going to play into this. I love your emails. So for anybody who's listening right now, you definitely want to go and sign up. What is that on jenniferhanway.com?
Yeah, jenniferhanway.com, or come and see me on Instagram, which is also Jennifer Hanway, and I'll get you guys hooked up.
So this morning I got the best email from you, which was, sort of 5 ways to avoid this, like sort of sugar, or to deal with your sugar during the holidays. And I'm sure we're going to touch on some of those. But one of the things that really stuck out is you were like, I am not going to discourage you from having a slice of pumpkin pie this holiday season. And I was like, hallelujah.
I mean, here's the thing. Holidays are not, and we can talk about this a little bit more, but holidays are not months on end. Holidays are a day here, a day here. And let's be real.
Well, I don't know, girl. How do you, I feel like, here in the city, because, a lot of people here, it's like, you've got your here family, which is like, your girlfriends and your work people. And then a lot of times you've got your like family, which you travel to. So sometimes I feel like the holidays between office parties and friend parties and Friendsgivings and family dinners and everything can literally be months.
And all those things they're wonderful. All those things are wonderful. And here's, if people take nothing else away from today, my professional opinion, so you can use me, my professional opinion is the most important thing for this holiday is about joy and love and connection.
Amen to that.
Because we all need it. Those things are scientifically proven good for our health. Right. So I want you guys to have the glass of champagne and the pumpkin pie and the 2 servings of pumpkin pie and not feel guilt or shame or any of those things, because we all need family time and love, and also Amber's dancing.
If you're not watching this right now, I'm so happy. So, just before we kind of get onto the healthy tips, I will tell you, we had done a podcast a little bit before my favorite holiday, which is Halloween. My favorite holiday is Halloween because you get to dress up and, as a kid, you get free candy. And I was a little fat kid growing up. There's no other way to put it, because I love candy. But you will be so proud of me, and I do want a pat on the back. My favorite candies are those pure sugar pumpkins that are made by Brock's. And you were like, Amber, this is like the worst thing for your skin. It's the worst thing for your body. It's the worst thing. And I would like you to know, I went to Dwayne Reed and I went through the entire season, passing by the entire wall, and did not have one piece of that sugar pumpkin nut, not at all. And actually, because I'm not going into an office every day, I didn't have really any Halloween candy at all.
This is something that we can talk about today. It's that I am not saying don't have treats and fun things, but I'm saying it's about quality over quantity. Sure. And you deserve better than crappy chemical filled holiday candy that is just going to make you feel look at you, you're a goddess. You deserve better than crappy Halloween candy.
And I'm going to record that and play that every morning for me. I'm a goddess and I deserve better than crappy Halloween candy. Yeah. I mean, that's it for me. That's totally wonderful. All right. So now let's sort of dig into this, the holidays. Clearly you are not necessarily, you didn't grow up here in the States.
I didn't grow up here in the States, but this will be my 10th Thanksgiving.
Okay. So you feel like you understand like how important this is. I mean, I feel like of all the holidays, Thanksgiving in some ways really like signifies America for all of its overindulgence and greatness. And like,
you know what? It's my favorite holiday because I feel like you get all of that wonderful connection and delicious food and family time, but there's no pressure around like gifts or feeling that you have to do anything. Like, I love Thanksgiving because it feels like a pressure-free holiday for me.
Same for me, but do you cook?
No.
See,
I
that's
have,
it too.
right?
I don't either. We go to my sister's and, I married into a family, ginormous family.
Mm.
And, I bring like a dessert, which can
Yeah.
sometimes just be a store-bought pumpkin pie. But actually, I learned this really good pumpkin dessert that I bring. But I think that's part of the reason it's stress-free. I think if you are
Yeah.
like waking up, because I remember my mother used to wake up at like 6 a.m. to start to like do the turkey and all that. And that's got to be a nightmare. But
Yeah. No, maybe that's our thanks. Another key takeaway. Don't be the one doing the cooking. I have an incredible mother-in-law who makes everything gluten-free and dairy-free for me. She has made it for 10 years. Shout out to Amy. I'll make sure she listens to this. So
love you, Amy.
we are super lucky. So I love Thanksgiving because it's really stress-free for us.
Yes, yes, same thing. And you know what, Amy, and to Marsha and to all my other sisters and to my mother, shout out to you women who have made this a very stress-free holiday for us. Okay, so so we have this holiday that really is, centered around food. And I know, listen, at the end of the day, we don't want to necessarily totally blow our diets. And sometimes that's hard because for some of us, it's like once you have like a little bit of one thing, it's hard to not have everything. So, with your expertise, what are some of the ways that we can approach both this Thanksgiving and then, the Christmas holidays or the Hanukkah holidays or Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you celebrate, which may involve some sort of drinking and eating and gathering and, not wake up on January 1st feeling like, oh, well, actually, January 2nd, we're all going to wake up on January 1st because I feel like this New Year's Eve is going to be like, we're going to party like it's 1999.
100%. And then we're straight in. Monday the 3rd is the first Monday in the new year. So it's like, Happy New Year. And then we're straight back into the new year. But jumping back into your question. So I think it's thinking about not having an all or nothing mentality. And I think that's really important for all of our health goals, not just over the holidays, but really thinking about, can you control the controllables? So for example, what I mean is that you might be going to a holiday party or drinks with friends or family meal, whatever that is. Most of the time, that's usually probably like mid-afternoon onwards. So the worst thing that you can do is actually starve yourself the day of. So whether it's your holiday, And here's why, is that if you are going to starve yourself the day off, you're going to go into that situation not with your battle armor on. You want to make sure that you're ravenous, hangry, pass me the sugary cocktail and the bread rolls and anything that I can get my blood sugar up super quickly. And that's the exact go.
Also, that first cocktail you have, you're going to be drunk. I mean, and then you're not going to be setting yourself up for those good decisions. Right.
And then game over. And anyway, so we want to do the opposite of that. So we want to be able to really control the rest of our day. So you're going to get up, you're going to do whatever your morning routine is, gratitude, meditation, any of those things. Make sure that you work out on the day of a big meal. Yeah. And one of the reasons, there's so many reasons why we should work out, but if you can work out, specifically strength training, what that does is that uses up our stored glycogen, that's our stored body sugar, and what blood sugar. And what that means is that when we have those slightly higher carbohydrate, higher sugar foods, our body can actually use that fuel as fuel for our muscles rather than storing it as fat. So that's that's number one. We want to make sure that we're having a great breakfast and protein, fiber, fat. I'm a huge fan of smoothies. Same thing with lunch, making sure we're having like maybe a chicken salad with avocado, something like that. And then what we're doing is we're balancing our blood sugar and our hunger hormones. So when we go into that situation, whether it's a party, whether it's a meal, we're like, great, I'm looking forward to treating myself, but I'm not going to go head first into, buffet food or canapes or a sugary cocktail or any of those things.
Before we kind of go ahead now, you love strength training. I know what you love. What is that one? It's so hard to do. It's on like the Pilates. It's the reformer.
Oh, so I love SLT. We have it here.
SLT.
In
SLT. Yes. SLT. I had a friend who was a teacher for that. That is no joke. I will say, I do Peloton. Peloton is great 20-minute classes. So there's no excuse. You can do 10-minute classes. You can do 20, you can do 30, you can do 40. And by the way, just as like whoever's listening right now, they are doing where if you DM me, I can give you a free pass to this. I think it's like unlimited. They're wanting people to share the app. So sorry, Peloton, if you're listening, but if you need something at home and you don't have that, send me a message and I'm happy to share a code with you.
The Peloton strength workouts, I'm human trying to program my own workouts. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I can reason my way out of anything.
Yeah.
When I'm traveling, I use the Peloton strength workouts. I either do it body weight or I grab whatever's heavy. And in terms of that, you want to make sure that you're doing full body movements as well. So we're not doing abs and arms on those days. We're doing squats, we're doing push-ups, we're doing lunges. We want to use as many big muscle groups as we can, because that's going to make us more insulin sensitive. So we can use our carbs as fuel rather than storing them as fat.
What a great tip. What do you think about, I know a lot of places they do like a turkey trot that morning, or, some people who have a Peloton might want to go for a run. You really feel like maybe skip the cardio and do the strength instead?
Skip the cardio, do the strength. And then, I'm doing a turkey trot on Saturday. It's just going to be super fun. It's kind of close to where I live, but do the strength training in the morning, and then go for a walk, preferably after you've eaten. If you can go for about a 45 to 60-minute brisk walk after you've eaten, that's a really, really great way of lowering what we call postprandial blood sugar, or your blood sugar after you've eaten. It's really effective.
Okay, great. All right. So we're going to make sure that we're going to strength train that morning, make sure that we've eaten, a good, healthy breakfast, lunch, unless some people do dinner at lunchtime.
Yeah. It depends when you're eating.
So now let's talk about once we get to the party, because I heard there was a really interesting study that came out that was like, basically nobody gives a crap about the turkey. Like that's like the least favorite, probably the healthiest part of the dinner, but like everybody loves all like the good juicy sides.
All the sides and all that. And that's my favorite thing as well. Like that's my favorite, all those fun things that you get to pick at. So here's the thing. Even if it sounds counterintuitive, if you're hungry and you're just about to go out and you're like, I'm not going to get to eat for another couple of hours, eat something small before you go out. Eat a little bit of plant-based yogurt, eat an apple and some nut butter, something like that. Again, it's going to carry you. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's going to carry you through and means that you can make great choices. So if you think about a Thanksgiving meal, if you think about the turkeys and the veggies and even mashed potato and things like that, the main components of a Thanksgiving meal, pretty healthy. Right. It's the apps and the dips and the chips and all of those things that are making up food dancers right now, the stuffing, the cornbread, all of those things. So think about if you have any agency over what we do in our families, we have like a pre-dinner like table with wonderful snacks and things like that. But my family, the family that I'm married into, amazing. So we have things like veggie sticks and salsa and guacamole. If we're doing chips, we do things like some nut thins, nut crackers. We do some siete tortilla chips, which are not kind of fried in all of those horrible oils. We do like Parma ham wrapped in melon, shrimp, those kind of things. So that's a really, really great option. And then
to like try to have those healthy snacks that are going on, so that when the dinner comes and when all of that tempting carb, buttery goodness is in front of you, you're not going to eat as much. Because listen, can we just admit, I feel like if there's one day to do it, Thanksgiving is it, right? You have to do it. You can't deny yourself all of the goodness.
You absolutely can't. And here's that right word, the goodness. Okay. So what I tell people is I want you to enjoy all of it. And it is Thanksgiving, that Thanksgiving meal, that's one meal, but really thinking about quality rather than quantity. Mm-hmm. So I'm a transplant here. This will be my 10th Thanksgiving, but there are we don't have them in our house, but some interesting Thanksgiving dishes. And I'm like, that doesn't sound too delicious. So something like a green bean casserole with a processed soup base, or I think this is a Southern thing, but sweet potatoes with like candied yams and
oh my God, wait, marshmallows on top. You've never had that? That's not for you?
That's not
girl,
for me.
that is so delicious. I don't need, you know what it is for me? I just like the sweet potato mash, right? Yeah. You don't need to, sweet potatoes to me are so sweet and delicious on their own.
Yeah.
But if you do like a little coating of the marshmallow on top is just like so yummy, but like not with all of like the maple syrup and all the butter added in. No, my sister-in-law makes something called pineapple stuffing.
What's that?
I asked her for the recipe once and she's basically like, you don't want this because you'll never eat it again. Cause it's like
Okay.
probably 8,000 sticks of butter, some sort of a
There is
bread.
nothing wrong with butter. There's nothing wrong with good butter.
Yeah.
But then you're putting the bread on top of it. Then that's when we get into.
And then like pineapple. There's pie. I don't know. You know what? It's like a dessert, but it is heaven.
And this is where we really want to think about, we don't want dessert for dinner because that's going to be coming. So if we are thinking, and especially if you have party after dinner, after party after dinner, here's the thing. My goal over the holidays for myself and my clients is to feel amazing throughout.
Right.
So we don't want to wake up the next day and feel terrible, and then we've got another party to go to and we can't show up as our best selves. So if we're thinking about that Thanksgiving dinner, start with those basics. So add your turkey to your plate, add your veggies, add your green beans, and then do a little bit of all of the other things as well. So the cornbread, the stuffing, the sweet potatoes on their own are amazing. They're such a great food, but start with the main things, the turkey, the veggies. That's going to help balance out your blood sugar, and then have a little bit of everything else. And you need only a little bit as well. So for me, I'd rather have a little bit of everything and then my turkey, and then I've still got room for dessert afterwards as well.
So do you bring anything sort of from your culture to, this sort of traditionally American holiday?
Yeah, so here's the thing. We don't have anything like Thanksgiving in the UK. What's random is we do have the Black Friday sales, but we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in any way whatsoever. So Thanksgiving is kind of new for me.
Right.
But as I say, I'm super lucky that I have an incredible family that my mother-in-law even makes everything gluten-free and dairy-free for me. So we really get to celebrate. What we bring some clean alcohol. So I'll bring some clean red wine, some cleaner champagne, and that's our contribution.
I want to touch on alcohol now too, because so for me, I found I love a great glass of wine. I know that you're a big fan of sort of these like clean wines. Do you think, I had a friend who pointed something out to me and it actually started to make sense. So I started drinking tequila because but I do it with club soda. And as I was the last time, and now mind you, I've also during the holidays made sure that I don't drink during the week. This was something that was kind of a wait. And I'm really trying to limit it to one night a week for so many different reasons. But the last time I was making a drink, I was kind of looking at it and thinking, wow, I'm actually consuming like a decent amount of water. Granted, it's carbonated water, but with this drink. So in my head, and calorically, a shot of tequila is way more friendly than a glass of wine.
Calorically, yes. Yes and no. A good glass of low sugar red wine can be, under 100 calories.
Okay.
The thing about tequila, and it's something that we hear a lot, is, it's low in sugar, low in calories if you're doing it with a clean mixer. The thing is that tequila is so hard on your liver. It's going to make your liver work so, so hard. And our livers work hard anyway. Our livers work so, so hard with environmental toxins from our food. And by giving it tequila, you're just saying, here's some extra workload for you.
Is it harder though than like a glass of wine?
Yes.
Really? I just figured that alcohol is alcohol.
No. So think about the alcohol content of something.
Oh.
So the higher the alcohol content, the harder it's going to be for your body to detoxify it.
Okay. Now, but what if we're like, so for me, I feel like if I'm drinking wine, for me, it's like 1, 2, 3 up, like a bottle, on like a book club night, or, we used to do this party. You don't realize. And if you've got that friend who like always makes sure your glass is not empty, you can be a bottle in and before you even know, whereas I do feel like for me, listen, to each their own. The cocktail, it's kind of like it's a measured thing. And depending on how much club soda I pour in there, I can have a really giant glass with still just one shot of. So anyway.
And if you're having
good point to know. Yeah.
If you're having the wine, make sure you're having it with water as well. You never want to have your alcoholic drink. You always want to make water your wingman. So if you've got any drink, water's your wingman as well.
Oh, okay. I mean, and now what about like all of these parties? So I feel like we're really good for Thanksgiving specifically, but going into the holiday season, if we're going out to parties and it just seems like there's endless parties. Do you have any suggestions for sort of the things that we can do?
Yeah. So again, it's that same thing of thinking about setting yourself up for success. So you're not going to be hangry when you get there. You're not going to go for those sugary cocktails. You're not going to go head first into kind of that buffet bar of things that are being walked around. So really setting yourself up for success there, making sure that you're having water all the time, eat something solid before you go out, because a lot of the time if we're at parties, there's no real food or dinner comes at 10, 11 o'clock in the evening. So set yourself up for success there, making sure that you have a ton of water. A really funny tip is to carry like a clutch. So don't have a purse that goes across the body or under your thing, because then you can only carry one thing. So if you have a purse, you have to, yeah, I know. Isn't that nuts?
No, that's such a great tip though. Oh my gosh, because that way both of your little hands can be grabbing at snacks and grabbing at drinks.
If I've got
grabbing tushies.
Yeah, I can grab snacks and I can grab drinks. If I have to carry something, I can do one or the other. So that's not a particularly scientific tip, but it's very, very practical.
But this is why I love to do this podcast, because of those tips. No, because those are the things people remember. I'm about to say something I can't even believe that is going to, because I'm pretty sure this advice came from Paris Hilton. God bless her. But not necessarily who I would necessarily take life advice from. But she said in some interview that she would generally, like if she was drinking something like a vodka soda, it was super helpful because she could alternate them with club soda. So essentially what I'm trying to say is if you're somebody who wants to really limit your drinking and you're walking around with a glass of club soda and a lime in it, nobody's going to question that you're not.
Yeah.
So if there's a little bit of that peer pressure, just remember club soda with lime, that's your friend.
Yeah. And I 100% have been the person who has tipped shots into a plant pot before. Like one, oh yeah.
Girl, oh my plants over here are like cringing right now.
Not in someone's house, in a bar. But sometimes it is those really practical things that make a huge difference.
Yeah. And listen, we all know that person who can really be trying to push us to do bad things. It's like kind of your friend and me.
Yeah.
So I think these tips, I love that tip about the clutch.
So we're bringing the clutch back. We want to be impractical. We're bringing a clutch back. So we just have one hand for something, not a hand for drinks and a hand for snacks.
I love that. Do you have any other fun tips like that?
I'm trying to think. That's probably the kind of the best one. And just really thinking about what you can do when you get home as well. So we think about rehydrating, but something that's super, super simple is taking some electrolytes. So electrolytes are powders that have things like sodium and potassium and magnesium in there. And when we get dehydrated, alcohol makes us dehydrated, these things get low. So if we can take, when you get home, okay, so some simple things. When you get home, take some charcoal capsules. So you can get these from any health food store, you can get from Amazon. And these are things that I kind of keep in my first aid kit, but charcoal capsules will help you detoxify things. And if you're someone like me who I'm really sensitive to gluten, if some gluten snuck in there, that's going to help. And then take some electrolyte powder.
Now, is there an electrolyte powder? I know that when I was growing up, people were like Pedialyte, right? Which is for babies.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know Pedialyte? It's
no,
I do know what
it is. Yeah. No, we don't want to do, I'm not talking Pedialyte, I'm not talking Gatorade. Those things are just, let's be honest, full of crap. There's a company I love called Halo Electrolyte.
Okay. Yeah.
And they are really great. The only sugar in there comes from a little bit of natural lemon juice. Really easy to kind of put into a glass of water when you come home. So you can do that before you go out, and you can do that after you go out, and you can do that next morning. You're going to feel so much better.
Now, is there anything, and I don't know if this is just a conversation we need to have on another podcast, but with certain food combining, are there certain things that you feel like can be more toxic combinations?
Yeah, so it's not, we used to think of the old food combining as, I think it was like the hay diet or something. I mean, we're talking about back in the 70s and 80s, but it used to be that you shouldn't have protein and carbs together. And that's absolutely not what we want to go for. But what we really want to think about is it's carbs and fat together, or sugar and fat together, that are going to be that key to make your body hold on to that food as fat rather than fuel.
Okay.
So when we have protein and fat, what that does is that helps balance out our blood sugar and our hunger hormones, but it doesn't make us produce insulin. So insulin is our storage hormone. So fat and protein, no insulin spikes. fat and carbs, we're going to have insulin spikes. And when we're having the carbohydrates, it means that our blood sugar goes up, our insulin comes up, and then we use the food that we're eating, we store it as fat, body fat, rather than using it as fuel.
Got it.
So the combination that we want to go for is protein, fat, and veggies, ideally.
I know some of it, I mean, if you're doing that slice of pumpkin pie, you're going to have the fat and so we just have to
one meal.
Right. One meal.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I will be having my pumpkin pie. I will be having my glass of wine. I'll be having my dairy-free ice cream. Like I'm good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I love that. And, do you think, before we sort of go, I want to just let everybody know, because we love having you on. I absolutely love having you on. And we are going to kick off our New Year's show is going to be with Jennifer again, who's going to help us and, sort of get past all of the sins that we might have committed in, the next coming month or so. We're going to have you back on for like that little cheerleader of how we can sort of start the year of healthy and good ways to kind of kick that off. But I do want to remind people too, I feel like this year we've been through COVID, we've been through this horrific, time, which I feel like I just want to take a moment and remind us all that like we're still going through it, so give yourself a little bit of a break. I know you're going to be really excited to go out and see all things, but also know that you can say no. You don't have to say yes to every party. You don't have to say yes to every request from every family member.
Again, this is this real rule of quality over quantity.
Right.
Do you want to save your best self for the people that really mean something to you? Or do you want to give a little bit to everyone, including those random people that you know on Instagram?
Right. And you know what, I do kind of just want to say too, like the holidays aren't necessarily, for us, it sounds like they're a really happy time. We get it. They're not super happy for everybody. Do you have any like advice if this is like a hard time of year for people?
Yeah, if this is, this can be a really, really hard. And I think probably this year it's going to be a harder time if people have lost people or they've had a tough year with their job. So there is definitely a flip side to it as well. But it's got to be about what works for you. So if the holidays are not for you, book yourself a massage, book yourself a facial. Anything that it's about what feels good to you. And if being out with people is too much or it just doesn't light you up, do what lights you up. And that could be self-care. That could be, we all get so stuck in our own heads. At this time of year, I make sure I double down on, I volunteer at a food pantry. We try and aim to send out as many gift cards as we can to feed other families. So I think it's very easy to get caught up in ourselves, especially at this time of year, but try and balance that out with doing something good for someone else. And here's the thing, there's no such thing as a purely altruistic thing. You do something for someone else, you're going to feel good as well.
Totally. And you know what, before I let you go, we've had many, many moons ago on a podcast, I learned about this app. It's called Be My Eyes. I posted about this recently. It's free to sign up. And what it does is it connects you with a visually impaired person who needs a quick answer to something. So the app will kind of send you an alert. It says a visually impaired person needs help right now. It connects you through the app via phone. And they might be saying, hey, can you let me know, is my dryer set to normal or permanent press? Or can you tell me right now, I'm trying to match, is this the red pair of pants or the green pair of pants? And you give them that answer I've done this now 3 times because there's so many volunteers that you don't get calls that much, but each call takes no more than 3 minutes. And I hate to say this, it doesn't matter if you're, laying in bed and whatever, because, they can't see the other end of it. So it's very low impact on our lives, people who have the vision, who can volunteer, and so meaningful to the people that you're helping. And it's free.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps. That's, using, the whole other conversation, but using our technology for good.
It's so great.
Incredible.
Yes. So I try to give them a shout out anytime you want. Be My Eyes. You can sign up for free. And it's just a wonderful way to help. Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for being on here. These fabulous tips that you give us all the time. Going back really quickly before we end up, a wine that you like?
So there's a company called Dry Farm Wines, and they do very clean, low sugar, I feel amazing the next day after I've drunk those.
Okay. And are there like a specific, like, do you like the cab or the?
They send you a mixed box. So I always do red because it's low sugar. They also have Prosecco and champagne for the holidays as well. And it makes a really great gift as well.
Oh, I love that. Love that. Love that. Well, I want to say to you and to your entire family, you have the most wonderful holiday. If people want to know more about your programs, if they want to sign up for your newsletter, if they want to have you as their own personal health holistic coach, what can they do?
Yeah, just come to visit me at jenniferhanway.com is the website, or it's Jennifer Hanway on Instagram. And I'm always in my DMs. So always ask me questions and I will connect with you there.
And trust me, you're going to love the newsletters that she sends out. There's so much great advice in there that you give absolutely for free. And your Instagram is so wonderful. Your stories are so great. I love looking at you with your little weighted vest. They're so inspirational. And I love that you're always giving tips that are really actionable. It's not making these drastic overhauls in your life. It's really useful tips. So thank you so much to everybody listening right now, who's going out for the holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. And we will see you next Tuesday.